Yes, prediction.
Saludos a todos.
Are you ready? I was born ready.
Obviously, you're a little, aggravated by the line of questioning regarding Canelo.
I don't want to touch this, dirty, so bad, I don't want to touch his name.
I'm working on feeling the art of humbleness. Can you be with me? That's the reason why I'm crying, because I'm not that person no more. And I miss him. But sometimes I feel like a bitch. I don't want that person to come out, because when he comes out, hell is coming with him. And it's not funny at all. It must sound cool, like I'm a tough guy. It's just, I hate that. I'm scared of it.
It would be awesome to, be being a great warrior, maybe with a Mexican.
Let's go. Way pop.
I have to put the joke.
No, hey.
Thank you for playing, man. I appreciate
Good
you.
timing, man.
Can't put predictions, man, but I definitely don't want to leave it to the judges.
Wepa Domingo. That's right, Sunday recap. And with those of you that continue to follow us, thank you so much. This show, it is actually dedicated for all of you guys. We appreciate the love, the support throughout the week. We are Long Leg Boxing EnVivo podcast con Manny Marrero.
Chanel Gringo Hicksa.
Hopper.
Yeah.
Always remember this, breaking it down like it is. Like it should be as a fan perspective, with all the action that's happening around the globe with boxing and afternoon boxing and legends, not legends. Really? What's not to like about some of the topics that we're going to be discussing today? Thank you, those of you that are jumping on board, listening through all of our platforms where you upload your favorite podcast and also all social medias. Thanks for the support. We've never been gone. We're back in action, but we're still hanging tough, guys.
Yeah, man, it's good to be back, man. Shout out to JC in the house, Chicano Prophet in the house, Clarence McLean, hardest-working man in the YouTube.
Mr. Live.
Yeah, all the way.
He's doing it live right now while he's in the comments.
He's going in. Punch,
lots of love, Clarence, man. Keep doing what you're doing, bro.
Man, we appreciate you guys so much. But yeah, we were missing in action, MIA. That's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Easter and we all got kids. A lot of kids. That's the ones we claim. Really? Hey,
Manny has kids he probably doesn't even know they're kids everywhere.
Oh man, okay. Welcome to the family. All right, so it happens. All right, so yeah, man, so happy to be here talking boxing with my brothers, man, and we're on that hot stretch right now. The block is hot, and we come out the gate swinging with some Saturday afternoon delight.
Love it, baby. Love the early afternoons.
Man. All right. So
get drunk.
But even last weekend, man. Last weekend was really good too. I think people want to hear what happened last weekend, right?
I think the ship has sailed. The momentum has sailed on that fight.
It really actually sailed pretty quickly. I mean, it's weird. It's weird, but not weird. Like my favorite and least favorite fan base, the Crawford Spence mega fight that still hasn't been signed, but they talk about every single day. I don't know how they can keep recycling that content, but man, shout out to them.
I feel like we talked about that fight enough already. Anyways,
yeah, we have. So
we talked about it so much that we banned talking about it. There's nothing else to say about it. Fight, motherfucker, you gonna fight or not? Shit.
Yeah, and it's not official, so we're officially not going to talk about it. But hey,
I know you guys don't believe it though. You guys don't really believe it.
I do.
I believe that it's closer ever.
Yeah. With what Spence is saying, he's guaranteeing at the end of the year. I think he's completely changed his tune. Now, if the fight doesn't happen, it's going to fall on Team Crawford. Ego.
Yeah. But is it because now of the money? And is it because and I think that's a quick topic. I'm not trying to burn the lead. But what I'm trying to say is, as for those that don't know, is it if it doesn't get done, does Crawford, and if it's all about money, does Crawford deserve more than Spence now? And that's the topic. More than Spence, because most likely, if the fight doesn't happen, it's because of money issue.
Definitely. If the fight doesn't happen, it's going to be because of ego, Manny, not because of something else. At this point, if Team Crawford fails to understand that Errol Spence is even if it's 55-45, Errol Spence is a proven a commodity attraction pay-per-view.
100%.
Gate,
Absolutely.
40,000 people were there. He's a proven pay-per-view star. At this point, we have to legit say if the fight doesn't happen, it falls all on Team Crawford. He's not with Top Rank anymore. The fight can get done. If you like Devin Haney did. He swallowed a little bit of ego to get the fight with Kambosos. He did what he had to do to get the fight. And I think Team Crawford has to take a page of that, man. You gotta bite the bullet, man. Like what Keith Thurman said, man. Take a little less, and then in the rematch, get a little more if you win. He was making good money. I mean, do you want to make the money or do you want to make the legacy? But it's hard to do both, man.
Yeah.
No, I mean that's
not. I mean, yeah. But
yeah. But man, I'm already tired of talking about them dudes, man.
Yeah, man.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, I get it. It's just a matter we never discussed about it, and people want to really understand, what's happening and who deserves the most, and it's one of those things you can go into a rabbit hole and never really find the end of it.
Thing, though, like that's the thing that I kind of hate.
But here's the thing:
we're putting our money, we're sticking our hands in their pockets. Our money, like we shouldn't care about that. Like, get the fight done. I don't care about how much money.
Exactly. But resume speaks.
It's gotten to a point where he's the A side. Like people legit argue, no, he's the A side. They defend these guys like with the passion. He's the A side. He's the B side. Who cares? Get the fight done.
So, a lot of Crawford fans talk about undisputed. Spence never been undisputed. But Crawford's been. So that doesn't have any weight into what make Crawford think that, hey, I did it. I'm coming up here. I'm a champ. I haven't fought in a while. No one wants to fight me. But now I have the opportunity. I'm the other piece of the puzzle to be able to create one of the biggest fights in history at this in this era. Okay, so is it valid? Is it a point Crawford's trying to make, or can we just look at what the current state of it right now that we haven't unified and someone has got only one belt? We have proven ourselves lately. Someone hasn't been able to prove themselves lately, but at the same time, he is Crawford.
Man, just real quick on this. I know that you're obviously really passionate about it.
I'm not passionate. I'm just trying to bring something into the table that I know a lot of people has questions still, and a lot of people has hope to it, but also as well, man, this is the biggest fight. I mean, it is. I mean, this is what people have been dying for a few years. Right.
So again, there's still a lot of undone things to discuss, and one of them is they haven't even signed yet. They're not even negotiating yet.
It's not even in the
yeah. So it's really nothing at this point. So hopefully at some point it does get to the point where we can talk about the woulda, coulda, shoulda. But as of right now, it's just a pipe dream that it seems like the planets are aligned, but right now they're not even the same solar system. In regards to
announce Terrence Crawford versus Danny Garcia. Watch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that it's
Terrence Crawford versus somebody else, one of the other welterweights they have there.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen like that.
You gotta get him mad to get him talk about it.
We try not to talk about it, man, but
salute.
All right, okay. Then
there was a fight yesterday, bro. I want to talk about that one.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, man.
Sorry about that whole Spence Crawford debate that we all talk.
Oh my God,
try to stay away from it, but sometimes it's just inevitable.
Right. Yeah, so it's so exciting, man. I would love to get your thoughts, Hopper. Please tell me what you think as far as like the performance, the fact of, because there's no sense in talking about the undercard. Tyson Fury versus Dillon Whyte. He did out there. He said he was going to do damage, and he put on the show.
He put on
figurative, and there was no pretending of 94,000. That place was packed, and it was very impressive. Electric. What an amazing entrance! Biggie Smalls,
Sweet Caroline.
What do you think, brother? Thoughts?
Always play that song. No, they always play that song. And the first thing that popped out of my head when these two guys were in the ring, I said, "Damn." Tyson Fury is huge. That size difference that he had over Whyte, I didn't think it was gonna be that significant. I mean, you see him at the weigh-in, but you can't really tell until they're actually in the ring. And damn, Tyson Fury is a huge mofo, man. Dude is huge. So there's some things that go together. Peanut butter jelly, gringo food, Tyson Fury, and the Kronk Gym, man. I think those two guys, that combination there, the Kronk Gym style of fighting, and Tyson Fury's just sheer massive size, they go together, baby. They fit perfect. And honestly, he probably should have done that way sooner in his career. I mean, early on, Tyson Fury was a quirky technical boxer, and then for that second Wilder fight, he just said, "F that, we're gonna knock dudes out," and that's what he's been doing, man. The sheer size of him is impressive, and not a lot of body work by either guy. They were mostly headhunting. They were trying to get the other one out of there. It was mostly all headhunting. So it was kind of a hug fest sometimes. It wasn't the most exciting fight for fans. It wasn't the most technical fight that you want to show to the casuals, but considering the 94,000 people showed out, shout out to the British fans, the UK fans, they all support their boxing. And it's funny how when people say, or I hear all these people talk about the sport of boxing is struggling. It's not struggling. It's just not mainstream. When you got 94,000 people in the stadium for with a whack ass undercard, you have Tyson Fury and Dillon Whyte, man, that tells you something about the state of boxing, man. So yes, the undercard was brutal, so I was watching my Mavericks lose while the undercard was going on. Shout out to Luka. Come on, man, you gotta do better. But we'll talk about that later. So, but yeah, no, Tyson Fury, the uppercut from hell. He took a page out of Povetkin's notebook and got him with the same shot that got Dillon out of there. So, shout out to Tyson Fury, man, got the job done in the 6th round. Manny, you were so close. You had said 7th round. Missed it by 1 round. Good stuff.
By a second. Because he would have come out. Where am I? I'm here. I'm ready to
man. He was dazed. He was.
Yeah, it was
good, man. It's Tyson Fury, Kronk Jim, perfect combination.
I love that, and well said. So that's some strong points. Manny, what's your thoughts? We know you're high on Gypsy King. What's your thoughts, brother?
I am. I'm a huge fan, man. I'm a huge fan. I was never a fan of this fight. And sorry we didn't get to break it down. I got my notes here if we would have broken it down this week. But honestly, this fight, it is what it is. I mean, this is a fight because there's nothing else out there that can match Tyson Fury. Great job, Dillon Whyte, for waiting a lot for at least 6 rounds. At the beginning, I thought I would see him knocking him out in the 4th, and I said, let me just get a little bit more love of Dillon Whyte. Maybe he has learned. Maybe this is his chance. He's putting a lot of effort into this. Maybe he can really surprise, like some of their fans thought it was going to happen. But listen, man, as quirky as he is, as crazy as he is, this fight was built for the entertainment of Tyson Fury. Hey, we did see a little glance of Dillon Whyte showing off, some videos and some good stuff, good entrance to the ring, which is good. It taps at what Wembley felt last night. Entertaining at his best with a legend that is on the Gypsy King. And the fight, it was like we thought it was going to be. We know Fury is kind of weird with those quirky, jabs, and they're just tapping into him. But, they really don't do a lot of damage, but the damage comes afterwards. And it's when you're careless, just like what happens to Dillon Whyte, he gets careless. Regardless whether he's boxing well and he's throwing, he just only has 1 punch. Doesn't jab a lot, body snatcher. What? He did hit Fury a few times in the body, but it doesn't, his skills doesn't resemble his name. Body snatcher mean that you're just going to tireless get into the body. That was the only way to kind of get into Fury. But the reality is with that reach and the consistent jab and then 1-2 straight punch of Fury, it was a matter of time to find what I knew it was going to happen in the 7th round, happen in the 6th round. He was going to get caught up with that nasty uppercut. Listen, Dillon Whyte, nothing wrong with it. He just couldn't land that overhand over and over. He tried to do it, couldn't do it.
He tried.
That's all he's got. All he had to do, Fury was smart enough to say, listen, let me just land that jab, and that hand's going to go on top of my jab. And that's it. He was never able to land it. He thought he was going to corner Fury in the corners. Fury is a lot slicker than that. He's got great footwork. He runs around the ring. He knows how to utilize his height inside the ring with a shorter opponent that you need to come close to me to try to get to me. Eventually, what happened to Whyte and Povetkin, right? He got careless, defense down, uppercut. Exactly. That's his weakness. And I think, as smart as he is, he is a total package in the heavyweight division in where a lot of people don't see that. But let me tell you something. Fury fought everyone he needed to fight. All right. And I know people are waiting for something different.
Joshua,
we'll talk about it later on. I'm going to go into details because we don't want to hear Sean's perspective about the fight last night. But I tell you what, the king is the king. He's a legend. And lovely to see him sitting down on the throne in all aspects of it. When his life changed completely, and then now he's an icon, he's a legend, he's the people's champ.
Man, that's
so you're saying Fury's a legend, icon. Wow,
Yeah,
that's
why not?
pretty high praise, my friend.
I love it because he's got the total package. I'm saying people's
He's got
champion.
the charisma and the mic, the talent on the mic.
He's not a great singer, but he entertains people, right?
He's an entertainer, man. Yeah.
Did Deontay Wilder annoy people by sitting or bringing that huge, outfit
Austin?
that weighted a bunch of, weighted out 60 pounds? Or did he annoy you when he was walking, carrying on, being like a king? Yeah, it annoyed. But for me, Fury, it didn't, because he talked the talk and walked the walk.
Fury's smart, man. If you listen to the leading up to all the Wilder fights, and that's why Wilder kind of checked himself out of the press conferences in the third fight. He lost the mental battle in the press conferences in the first and the second fight. Fury just was all over his ass mentally. Completely. And I think that's why Wilder just said, you know what, I'm going to put these headphones on. I'm not going to listen to whatever this guy says. And that's probably why Dillon didn't show up to a lot of the press conferences up until fight week, because he knows that Fury is a mastermind and a very shrewd guy.
Absolutely. Sean, what are your thoughts?
What was your take on the fight, man? Hold on. What were you eating first when you were watching the fight?
That's funny.
Salad? What?
Salad.
Are you okay?
No, salad. But no, it was shout out to Nando, shout out to people in the chat, sup, Lion Killer in the house, HLD, Puerto Rican Rum. Man, we got a full house in the house. Chicano Prophet and Punch Smollett. A couple things there. The fight played out the way, he fought.
You called it the most predictable outcome that's been happening.
Yeah, so I mean, I hear the accolades and people are excited, and that's kind of like the euphoric feeling that a lot of fight fans have after the fact, as far as like, is he a legend? Is he the greatest of our time?
Shots fired.
Kind of feel like he's the right place, right time. I'm on the kind of the line with my brother, Punch Smollett. Well, that's a mean looking avatar, brother. I got to put that away. Me nightmares later, because is he?
Are you hating on the man, Gringo?
Hear me out.
Or being realistic?
All right, so he's talking about he loves it. Within the same breath, I can't even make this up. He's saying that, he's done everything he is to do in boxing. He goes through the line of all his, he has them memorized as far as all the accolades he's achieved and everything he's done as far as his career in boxing. But as far as like, undisputed, like to go undisputed. And then also they have two guys, granted, you can make an argument as far as like what Whyte or what he wasn't, but he was, a top 10 guy, right? And he was somebody that was the mandatory felt like for my whole life. So
my daughter newborn or quinceañera, and he was still mandatory.
Right. Yeah. He's probably still mandatory now in some kind of weird universe. But what I would like to do is I don't like just, people say stuff in the moment. And, Tyson Fury has walked away before.
You look at Manny for when he said that.
I think that is he entertaining? But I think part of his entertainment is the mind games. And I think that is just kind of talk right now. And I'm going to go ahead and call right now. And people, you can add me in the chat, in the comments if you want on this one. But I think that his retirement's contingent on who wins Fury Usyk too.
Who doesn't he want to see?
Yeah. So and you can believe whoever he wants to see. Only he knows that. I think that if Usyk wins, I think the retirement will be retirement.
Really?
If Joshua Usyk, I think if Joshua wins, I think that he'll be all over it. Like why?
Yeah, because that's a mega fight in the UK.
So my question to you, Gringo. My question to you, Gringo,
people will probably be there.
My question, Gringo, for you. Okay. So obviously contemplating retirement yesterday. Obviously, there's a lot of people out there who feel like, Fury hasn't fought the best, hasn't fought all of them. So you feel right now that in order to Fury be the person who I'm actually speaking and advocating for, the fans believe that he is a legend, he needs to fight Anthony Joshua and beat him for that? Be undisputed if that's the case.
Okay, let's go with what, because I kind of sense from your tone that you're disagreeing. So
I'm 100% I'm asking you, but I'm asking you, I wanted to see if that's a fight that can actually get Fury where, some are talking, and I'm talking about it.
Why would you walk away with guys that have the other belts to be undisputed? Like why?
Okay. So what do you have to prove with someone that fought and lost against Fatty Andy Ruiz? What do you have to prove with someone that fought a cruiserweight and lost his belts to a much shorter guy? Why would you think you need to fight?
But if he wins the fight, though, if Joshua wins the fight, that's pertaining.
Yeah,
if he beats Usyk.
Right now, I'm contemplating it because I beat everyone that I needed to beat. Just because people think Joshua may be on a higher level than Fury or needs to have the belts, there's no need for him to be fighting anyone else right now.
Gringo, can I answer this for you, Gringo?
No. I want to answer this one for myself.
All right, go ahead. All right.
First of all, again,
I love arguing with Manny.
All right, so here's the thing. To clarify it again, if Joshua wins, that's who Fury wants. So yeah, there's no question. I think that pads his resume. That takes him to that whole next level of
if Joshua wins, right, and has the belts.
If he wins, right,
because has the belts,
right. So I mean, do I think it's some kind of great win that pads his legacy of some sort? Not at all. But
he becomes undisputed.
Right, he becomes undisputed. It is a name on his resume, and I always have issue with not fighting all the guys during your era. So, I mean, just the fact, come on, man, let's just be totally keeping 1,000. The fight fans in the UK were trying to convince us that this was some fight that had to happen that we just watched, that we clearly knew what the outcome was going to be. So if we had to watch this, I need to watch the other fight that I think will be at least more entertaining. You can make more of an argument to me if nothing else but the sheer size. So I think that's my argument. Now, to what you're saying, as far as like who can beat him. Now, I think where the difference is, I always go into a lot of fights where when Fury's involved, that he's the better boxer. Not when it comes to Usyk, he's not the better boxer. And I think no, he's not. And I think that, being able to get on the inside, I think that Usyk presents problems and things and challenges where he hasn't faced before. And unlike what you were saying about being beaten by Fat Ruiz and, a cruiserweight, that hasn't happened because, one of the greatest cruiserweights ever other than Holyfield is Usyk. He's a real warrior. He's a champion. And I really don't think that Fury wants to smoke. So if he walks away, how could he be a legend? I mean, he'd be a legend, as far as in the blueprint that he's laid out, but you can't walk away and be a legend. Not to me, you
walk away undefeated, and you walk away the fact that you're not undisputed, but sometimes undisputed belts makes no difference in the legacy that you're in. Sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, but when it comes to money, when it comes to better fights,
not in this time though. So like,
not in this time.
If you walk away and there's doubt, here's the thing: it's not like, is it 100%? Let's go this way. 100% if that you believe that Fury would beat Usyk if they fought. Forget Joshua. If they fight 100%. If there's any doubt, if there's anything, even 5%, then they need to fight. Point blank. And
it's just a very uneven fight, man. It's just too. I mean, it's just Usyk is way too small, bro, to fight. Dillon Whyte had problems. Can you imagine Usyk? And Dillon Whyte, it's taller than Usyk.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the thing, though, about it. Would Usyk want that fight? Yeah. Is it interest? Even if Usyk has all the belts, does it interest Fury more than Joshua having the belts? There might spike in interest in where we could see possibly Fury coming back to get Anthony Joshua's belt. But my question, Hopper, to you.
Tag me in, bros. Tag me in.
Tag team. Here's the deal. So let's put into perspective. Let's put into perspective that Anthony Joshua wins all the belts, all right? And he's missing just one, that other piece that Fury has. And let's say that Fury doesn't want to take that fight. He wants to retire. What do you think that does to the legacy that Fury has created? Is it possible?
Here's my thing about Tyson Fury, man. Do I think he's a legend yet? No, I'm not going to go as far as say that just yet. He's missing one piece, undisputed. If he becomes undisputed, then by default, of course, he's going to become a legend of this era. Just by becoming undisputed, the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Come on, it's hard to hate on that. I don't even think the artist hater could say something at that point. Does he have a preference for who he will fight? Of course, he wants the Joshua because that's the money fight. They're gonna make tons of money. That fight's gonna sell in the UK. It don't matter if Joshua already has 2 losses. Hell, even if he loses against Usyk. and they were to fight Fury against Joshua, that fight would still do massive over there in the UK.
With a worse undercard, it would sell.
With the worst undercard, yeah, put the undercard from last night or yesterday afternoon. But Fury's getting there to legendary status. He has everything, like you guys have mentioned. He's very charismatic, very smart on the mic. He can be a good heel too when he needs to be. So he plays the part well. He plays his role well. He's missing one piece though to become a legend, or as you call it, Manny, a legend. I'm not ready to call him a legend yet, an icon, but he's close. Depending on what happens with the Joshua Usyk fight. And honestly, I think Fury beats both of them. Joshua has displayed a lot of weaknesses already. We'll spend more time pointing them out. But I think Fury beats both of them, beats Joshua, and then just his sheer size against Usyk. Yeah. Usyk is super talented, very technical fighter, cruiserweight moving up, but Fury's just big. He's just gonna. I mean, you can have all the skill in the world if the dude's just big. 6'7"
against a 5'9" or 5'10".
Wallops you over and over. I mean, you can have all the skill in the world, man. The ring is finite. He's gonna find you.
I just want to.
Here's why I say he's a legend, right? He's a people champ, and not a lot of people are people champs. And he's that entertaining in where he's got the skills. He's done it. He's done it inside the ring. And then, he connects with people and the fans and the people are the ones who bring him, push him into that status. And that's the reason I believe that he is at that level. Now, to put into perspective, if Anthony Joshua, if he wins, there is an excitement possibility to say, wow, okay. But if he doesn't take it, in my eyes, he didn't really need to prove anything else. So, yes, Gringo mentioned something very important. He at the right place at the right time, because there's no other one else rather than the same people that are. You see, that makes sense. So, yeah, but he did it in his time, in his era. They can also say the same thing about Canelo. Well, they were undefeated and weak and champions, but they were weak. Hey, but he beat weak champions undefeated.
Whoa, wow! How did he turn?
I wasn't even talking about Fury like that, bro. It was Gringo the one that was hating on him.
Damn!
I felt like Manny. Hey, did you notice that? Gringo went all the way from the outer lane to run over Canelo.
I love the conversation when we bring Canelo in. Look at Hopper just got off like, whoa!
Damn,
that's what we do.
What the hell, man? He was on this lane on the highway and then just.
That's crazy, man. Like how? I mean,
4 lanes over on the highway to just run over.
All right, so I'll say this because I mean, again, this is a different opinion, man. I don't like the mindset just in boxing in general. Let's take the fighter names away from it, but leaving meat on the bone, like just the assumption. Oh, this guy would definitely win. I hate that. Like that's kind of like a loser mentality to me. Really, like,
you call me a loser.
Like the fights have to happen, point blank. Is there a possibility that Fury will win? Highly likely he would beat both guys. But the likelihood that they don't fight and he doesn't go undisputed, to me, leaves a bad taste in my mouth. That's not legend move. That's a pretender move. So that's my opinion.
You feel like right now he didn't have the right to say, I can retire? I mean, do we know? Is he 100% healthy to be at the same level if he gets one more fight? We don't know all that stuff. We exactly don't. I mean, I think he entertained himself saying, I'd rather go to WWE or I'd rather go to, UFC.
He fits perfect in WWE, man.
Is he mocking? Is he really? He's born to entertain. And Fury I don't see it wrong. Yes, don't get me wrong. If the fight against, if Anthony Joshua beats the titles, which I doubt it, and if there's a possibility of a fight, that will be phenomenal. Just because what you said, we are being sucked into not only what's best in North America, but what's best out there. And it's proven on a fight that doesn't make sense, 90,000+ people, on a fight that made sense here in Texas, 75,000 people. That makes sense. Look at the big difference, right? So why not bring in 150,000 people, whatever Wembley fills up, I don't know, but bring it a lot, and that will bring it out great to the sport. But for me right now, I'm thinking in the standpoint of, like, if he doesn't decide to fight it ever again, he shouldn't be dinged on that. That's what I think. But would I love to see it? Mike, absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, let me get to some of these comments. Good stuff, brothers. And yeah, for those that are putting comments in there, I am not ignoring them. I'm actually looking at them and appreciate them.
Why are you ignoring the people for? You're not a man of the people, like Tyson Fury says.
Yeah, hey, he talking about that I went sideways on the highway. He crashed. Let's take over.
Bro, you went sideways.
Chicano Prophet in the house, El Chile in the house, Nando Llamas. I disagree 100%. The Klitschko era was the worst. This era has been the most fun since the 90s.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Totally.
All right. So fake goodbyes are NDCs.
Good man.
All right. Stephen Ruiz, the man.
Exactly. Thank you, Ruiz. God, I still own you a beer, bro.
You still haven't paid him his beer? Wow, what a jerk.
I was hoping to see him on the expense card.
Wow.
JC in the house.
I'll sell you.
JC needs that AJ and Usyk fight. Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yep.
All right, so Nando, this is the best era since what the hell? I mean, I like that comment so much. I put it up there again. Speaking of something that Nando had said actually in another chat, I believe it was on HCP. Was it HCP? No, it was a roundtable. And shout out to you, Nando, for saying this. This is so thought-provoking, man. I was like, wow, this is awesome.
Tell, man.
You believe that fight predictions, and I would like to say that's why we don't always do them. We don't always do them because we don't have time to do the research. But fight predictions, do you believe that creates narratives in boxing?
Do I?
Like people like if you do a
I think I get what you're saying. I think it creates a narrative where you want to defend your narrative, you know? Instead of seeing calling the fight for what it is, you don't want to be wrong. So you defend. I see it a lot of times with Manny. So I see it.
Yeah. I mean, Ben Connor.
I'm kidding. I'm
gonna hear that a lot.
No,
I mean, I get it.
I get what you're saying because it happens
great
in all
for
sports,
audience.
Man.
It does great for audience.
Yeah,
it's a fun part of it
for TV.
People want to know
Stephen A. Smith, Skip Bayless, the narratives, and they want to defend it to death.
So yeah,
people want to know what are you thinking? What are you thinking? People do because we are out there. We're influencers, right? And they hear us.
We're gonna be on Nelo's ass. We need to be on Fury's ass. Ooh. Hey, Canelo has a little better resume though than Fury.
More.
A lot better.
Not a little bit. He's got
I throw Klitschko era as one of the best in the same 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, and even the 50s are much better. Well, yeah, they were much better. I think the one that was the 2000s, like the aughts, like 2000 to 2010. That was pretty bad.
Yeah. Man, I think the Klitschkos were just badasses, man. I think at the same time, I don't want to knock them for being badasses. Just better than everybody else,
Well, people wanted to see them fight again. Disputed between.
Yeah, that's true. They just wouldn't fight each other. That would have been great.
But I think what really will help and top things up right now, taking into consideration that we have Wilder. I mean, Fury had entertained himself to retirement. Heck, if Anthony Joshua gets all the belts, I'd love to see him fight Wilder.
Yeah, there's a lot of that goes to the comment that this era is one of the most funnest eras. Like there's still a lot of fights that can be made, a lot of tangible fights that'll pique a lot of people's interest. Wilder, Joshua, Wilder, Usyk with anybody. It's Fury with. I mean, there's a lot of fights that can be made, and you still have guys out there that are trying to come up as well. Andy Ruiz and King Kong,
Joe Joyce.
That's actually a great point. From the standpoint of
Andy Ruiz, Deontay Wilder, that's a fight that can get made.
Now I do want his
big ass
to retire. So
don't diminish Luis Ortiz. He's got something still left.
Does he?
I mean, he's still there.
He's still there. He's still. They
got awkward, huh? It got awkward. Got to stay quiet for a second. No dead silence on air, guys. Come on.
That's bad for the podcast version, the audio version. No, but seriously, I was giving you a hard time being a hater that I am. I think that, when I think about it now, actually, I'm kind of excited. I hope Fury stays his ass away from the ring now and goes and does the WWE or whatever he's talking about, because I do kind of want to get away from this giant era, from the standpoint of like that's how I remember like when motherfuckers got too big. You know what I mean? Because like even though I'm big on Jared Anderson, he actually trains here in H-Town. Shout out to us. But man, it's 6'9", 6'7" guys. Not it does create a new dimension that isn't always the best for, guys that are, these are still big guys, 6'2", 6'3", 6'4". But when you start getting to 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", it goes to a level of where it's really hard to compete. And we're seeing that with the Inferno, right? And at the 150.
Sebastian Fundora.
Yeah, Sebastian Fundora. So, when you change the game and have that game change in size, so if he does retire and then, we don't know if Wilder's going to come back, I would like things to come back to earth, so to speak, as far as having more, I don't say normal size. They're still big humans, but then it comes into play like a Joe Joyce, even, Lazy Ruiz, if he does have a resurgence and becomes Andy Ruiz again, he could come back and be a name. I mean, I don't fully believe that, but I just like the potential. That's the thing. I want these fights to happen, and the woulda, coulda, shoulda to kind of go by. I don't want to have somebody that's so big and has such a physical advantage. It really kind of skews everybody else from, being able to actually fight or really have a realistic chance. That's kind of my thing. Because honestly, let's talk about it. Okay, so we're so high on Fury. Well, man, he is. As far as, Fury walking away.
And these guys paid the pay-per-view, enjoyed it last night.
Right. So is what where do you win?
They contradict themselves.
I mean, do you appreciate his wins? Well, not wins, I guess, by him being able to have 3 fights and knock down Fury 4 times. Does that have more? Are you more impressed by that, or pretty much Whyte? You never were impressed with Whyte to begin with.
It's not that I wasn't impressed. It's just I just felt that right now the only fight that had some kind of interest to build what it was built last night, 90,000 plus people. It was just 2 fights. They're both from out there. They're both likable guys, and I think a lot of people would tell me, well, you're not giving props. And I said, you know what? Let me because I started like I see him 4th down, but let me say, no, hold on a second. Okay, all right. So this is White's opportunity. What do you do when you have an opportunity of your lifetime? You go out and about, but then you start really crappy, not showing up. In the first conference because you feel like you're not being treated the right way when it comes to money and all that kind of stuff. It's like, listen, you talk about being in the right place at the right time. Who gives a fuck that you were waiting so many years? But now you finally got it. I said to myself, let me expect a little bit more from why? Because this is once in a lifetime, this opportunity, y'all. You see what I'm saying? So I'm like, I might expect a little bit more, but the more I watch some of Dillon Whyte's fights, he doesn't have a lot other than body punches and over right hand. That's it. You can study that. You can block that. You can defend that much better. And Fury is a guy that doesn't get careless very often. He tends to. It did happen with Wilder, but I mean, the magnitude of Wilder, that's a 2-second punch. You can't compare that punch against Dillon Whyte. So with that, it was just a matter of time. And I said, let me give him something. Let me give him some props. But Sean, Hopper, it is what it is. The fight is the only thing that was out there for Fury for us to watch. They sold it, and they sold it well. And look at the outcome. Better than anything else out here in the United States when we talk about undisputed. It did much better than the undisputed at the, well, I call it undisputed 135, but it is not really undisputed. But, it did a lot better. It did a lot better than even 140 pounds also undisputed. Oh, my God, Josh. So, Taylor, so that makes sense?
No, that shows a horrible venue for that. But, I mean, as far as fan interest, I'm saying as far as, like, has your opinion of Wilder increased? Have you have a greater appreciation or you just never had a high opinion of Whyte, as far as, like, he looked like he had nothing to me, to be honest. I mean, maybe it was just Fury just had him kind of, a matchup-wise, or as far as, like, your opinion, I guess maybe I'm not clarifying well enough, but as far as, like, do you still see Fury and Wilder being 1 and 2 and everybody else, or do you see it pretty much Fury and everybody else?
I see Fury and everybody else in my eyes. Right now, because you've proven him 2 or 3 times. Okay, let me then just be on the same page. 2-1 against Wilder. Still, he got the series 2-1, so he's still above everybody else.
It was 2-0-1. I mean, really, it should have been 3-0.
That's what I'm saying. I have a 3-0, but let me just think about. Okay, let me give that first fight to. It was a draw. Let me give it to Wilder. Let's see. Last minute punch, knockdown. He got up. Still, there's just nothing Dillon Whyte could have done last night to at least contend. That's the thing. And I'm not taking anything away from the hard work these guys are putting into the gym, the excitement and the show they put into us, and we paid for that. But honestly, last night, we all knew what was going to happen. We all knew it.
Yeah, that's true. What's your thoughts, Hopper? You kind of look back and like, well, you never really hire on Whyte anyway, so it doesn't impact about what.
Man, I kept trying to convince myself that Whyte was going to perform better than Whyte was going to be in there and give him, he was a dog and everything. But man, at the end of the day, just once they stepped in the ring and Fury's size, just the sheer size of it, man, it's an uphill battle for a lot of people, man. Even Wilder with the long arms that he had, Wilder is probably going to be the best opponent for to battle offset Fury's size, man. Looking back on it, they gave us 3 great fights, and we're gonna look back on those and say, man, that was exciting. That was a good fight. That was probably the best opponent for Fury to where he would the chances of him losing were high against Wilder. I look back on it, so just because Wilder has the long arms, he's tall, he's athletic, he's he can kind of hang in there with that with Fury's size minus the second fight. But I think everybody else is just. They don't have the size to compete with him, man. I think, and then when when they start hugging each other and Fury just puts his big old bare body on him, it's Fury. Even I don't consider him a legend, an icon just yet. He's a great boxer. He has a great legacy so far. But yeah, it's Fury and then everybody else, man. It's just
and I think Fury, everybody else for me right now, everybody else will be Wilder will be the guy to really beat after if Fury really.
I want to see how Wilder bounces back and see who he fights.
Yes, but if he does exactly what he did on the last fight against Fury, Fury, and you said everybody else, he did something amazing in the last fight. Yeah. I mean, you have to stop it, but you show that he can get there if he's got his mind straight. And he really focused on training.
And that's one thing that I learned, and we'll probably get added on this one, but it showed me there's a difference as far as fan bases, because a lot of times you hear about passionate. Just because a fan base is passionate doesn't mean they're knowledgeable. UK fans have been pushing for this Whyte fight.
That's right at you, Manny.
They've been pushing for this Whyte fight for years.
Eyes roll that way.
For years. So, and they see something, and I remember when it was announced when Lazy came off his second fight against Joshua and lost. I was like, man, he should fight against Dillon Whyte, man. That would be the perfect guy. And they were kind of having a back and
Andy
forth.
Ruiz?
Yeah. But
okay,
whatever reason, they didn't. That fight never materialized like most fights, but I was felt like that was
most fights.
I was
all the time.
I've never been that high on Dillon Whyte. I see some things there where he can cause people problems, and he does have a respectable resume when you go back and look at it. I mean, he
fought Joshua, Chisora, he's fought some Parker, he's fought some.
Yeah,
fought some good guys, man.
Yeah. So he's.
Do you think that Dillon Whyte may be considered now a gatekeeper, or does he have a legitimate chance to contend again for a world title?
Not while Fury's
if Fury leaves, 100%.
Oh, if he leaves, yeah. You know what? It's a good question. Well, AJ did knock him out, but I think Dillon's gained some size since then. And if you go back and look at that fight, Dillon he looked kind of small against AJ in that fight. Would he come back and compete? That's a good question, Manny. And the way the landscape in the heavyweight era is right now, I would give him a decent chance at it, just considering that, with the guys that are there with, Luis Ortiz and the Ruiz, you have to fight some of those guys to get back on top. And I'd give him a decent chance at for sure,
that Joseph Parker fight was really, really good for Dillon Whyte. I thought he would escalate to a different level as he started to, right? But then all of a sudden, that loss with Povetkin was just brutal for him. It just shows how vulnerable he could be.
No, man, that's a great point. I was kind of thinking about that too. Because I know there's been things back and forth on different, platforms as far as Dillon Whyte and, where he's ranked. And, I know Hopper came at me strong when I said he was a top 5 guy, but I was like, by default, he was by default. Yeah, not like talent wise, like, oh, look at Dillon Whyte. But yeah, if that's kind of like the intrigue, like basically when you have such a a force as in Tyson Fury. Like if he does actually truly remove himself, it becomes like wide open. It's like the Wild West again in the heavyweight division. Like people
Good
really
point.
focus, even though we talk crap about AJ, about, you know, man, Eddie Hearn would be like putting his fist together, just so excited because it's crazy as it sounds. He could get one on because I think Deontay Wilder would knock his ass out. How crazy is that? You know what I mean? Like it's just wild west. But like I said, I still want that to happen though. Like I don't like this back and forth. So if you know, Fury's gonna leave, I want him to leave, even though I really do, and I'll stick to it. Then I'll get to these comments. I think that he's waiting to see the results of the second fight between AJ and, you know, irregardless, I think that that's going to weigh on his decision. Why?
And he's probably going to be there in attendance. I mean, he's very supportive of events.
Got to give some shout out to our man, So Boxing podcast. Whyte had a couple game plans, and he was just fighting. That's kind of how it goes. Nano Yamas, Wilder's competitive, too slightly favored with Usyk and AJ, in my opinion. Man, see, that's a great point. You know, that's crazy because we talk crap about Wilder, but like you said, Hopper, all the time.
Against Usyk, yeah,
he's always in great shape.
Wilder will be in shape, man. You can't knock him for that, man. He's always ready. He stays in shape. He trains his ass off.
Wilder is the guy.
One thing you got to give Wilder. Wilder is props, man. You can say whatever you want about his boxing abilities, but you can't question the man's heart and his dedication to staying fit and for the sport of boxing.
And the third fight, which all three fights were, you know, had memorable moments.
He had a great game plan for.
He had a great game plan,
like one of the best trilogies I witnessed on this time when it comes to
recent memory. Because we don't have too many of those.
I mean, just to be knocked down like that, and not only that, in the third fight, both guys hit the canvas. And it's
that's what made it great, man.
You know, and Wilder wanted to go out on his shield, and he did. Man, it was a great fight. But that's what I'm saying, like, we're talking about, that's the beautiful thing about this. Like, we're talking about AJ and Usyk, but I do think Wilder can beat them both, and I'm sure I'm gonna get
so too, bro.
I think
so too. He's bigger. He's way bigger than Usyk.
I mean,
Wilder is
to beat,
and that right hand is a powerful right hand, especially for a smaller guy moving up.
Yeah. All right, man. All right. So I'm kind of getting hype again.
Wow. So are we Wilder fans now?
I think we are.
We all jumped on that boat.
But hey, that's what happens when you go in there and fight guys like this. You know, give us a great trilogy. You get the respect from everybody. That's what happens. Wilder's earned it.
That's the media fan respect.
Remember what we used to say before that, and then now it's like after that third fight, man, Wilder redeemed himself in a lot of people's eyes.
Totally do.
Yeah, you raise your platform, absolutely.
Yep.
And okay, so let's get to these comments, guys, before we get ready to give. Looks like we're not getting to anything else. We're gonna go ahead and probably give final thoughts. I guess we'll talk about in the future.
Let's let the people know we're gonna be doing a preview show maybe this week sometime.
No, we're gonna definitely do a preview show. I don't know if that's the thing
for Thursday maybe, or no. Whenever HCP, whenever the schedule allows.
Yeah, we're gonna look at the HCP schedule, and we want to find the best time to do a preview show. It's gonna be a double header.
Stevenson,
Shakur Valdez,
Amanda Serrano, Katie, and Taylor,
Cutie Taylor.
So here's the thing, guys. Not to make excuses. We want to give you guys proper breakdowns, unlike our normal shows. So we're gonna go back, especially our brother Hopper, man. He likes to go back and look at the last 5. I'm gonna go back and look at the last 6 because I gotta be out.
Oh, in my face. Okay.
What time it is. And Manny likes to do his research as well, but he's not gonna be biased about the Serrano Taylor fight at all.
No, of course not. It's gonna be completely objective.
All right, so
objective. Yeah, I know.
Wilder and his team effed up by not taking the $100 million plus the zone contract to fight AJ. History would have been. That's a great point, man. There's so much.
Yeah, but still, I mean, I think still, I don't know. You needed to have that Fury and
No. I mean, again, so. Not saying I didn't want it, but I'm saying like to his point, that things would be definitely different. Stephen Reed is always making great comments.
Party at Jimmy Blues. Let's get it.
Fury and legend.
No invicta, el camarada.
That's
Jimmy
my boy,
Blues.
Steven.
That's the only way you're gonna get your beer, Steven. If you invite us over and get Manny's beer that he owes you.
What's your thoughts on Valdez?
I'm not hiding. At least I mentioned it.
Preview show probably
Gringo
Thursday.
was spitting earlier. He was.
Gringo
I was looking at him.
Literally,
He was like, he felt like it was a dream, and I dreamed something, and was talking about it like a little boy, like I dreamt this, and this is what I'm talking about.
I miss Wilder. Yeah, that's the thing, man. Like,
yeah.
Okay, I'll go ahead and say. I'll say shout out to El Chile on their recent show. They did a rescore of Wilder Fury 1, and they never mentioned Glovegate or any of the allegations. It was just about the fight. So great breakdown by them, man. They really brought it. But yeah, I do miss Wilder. You know, I don't miss like his fans. You know, but you know, I miss. So if he like comes back and he announces a fight,
are you trying to say that the fans are bad or something?
No, not at all. Okay. You know, the fans are fans. Their fans are fanatics. So, but if they did come back and announce, you know, a Wilder fight,
I mean, we just became fans on this show.
We love Wilder.
Yeah, we're all over it. I'm trying to think who could fight. Man, you know, I was kind of when you look at the rankings. Let's look at the rankings real quick before we get out of here. Look, I mean, Daniel Dubois is ranked number 1 by the WBA. What? No, bruh, look at it.
Well, you got Trevor Bryan, regular champion.
Nice bonus in that organization.
Frank Sanchez is number 4 at the WBC.
Oh, completely forgot to mention Frank Sanchez. I think. Hey, what about Frank Sanchez against Fury?
Yeah,
you think so?
Is he ready?
Hey,
ready?
And he's real.
Manny doesn't like his style of boxing though. He considers it boring. But when a Puerto Rican does it, it's great.
He was boring on that Christian Hammer fight.
Hey!
Oh! But I mean, I love the guy. Yeah, I mean, he's bringing Cuba back up.
No, that's the thing, man. that would be great, man. I really do hope that the landscape gets some clarity by, honestly, it shows the significance of this fight. So the fight between Usyk, in my mind, Usyk and AJ is massive because I think how it plays out will impact the entire boxing division for years to come, honestly, because it impacts Fury's decision. And then from there, you know, the dominoes will fall.
But also, I think the most of the impact that I see in my end, Gringo, is that Anthony Joshua always comes up a lot better on his second opportunity. So a lot of their fans are waiting to see, oh, he's coming better now. And then what's up with Usyk? Yeah, what's up with Usyk right now? Is there too many distractions right now with all the stuff that's going on, you know, in his country and you know, Ukraine, and it's hurtful. It just takes away from that mental focus of a boxer that, you know, unified champion. So I think that's why there's hype about this, and to see now that we saw what we saw last night, what's going to happen, whether it's retirement or not.
Yeah, man. So man, great stuff, and you know, always good to talk boxing with my brothers. We don't always agree, but we agree. We love boxing. We love talking with you guys. For those that are listening in on YouTube, watching live, and on Facebook, we got much appreciation and love you guys. Thanks for everybody that tuned in and is in the chat. Also, in the audio version, we got much love for you guys as well. Download, put your comments and likes within the Spotify and Apple podcast. Leave your review. Appreciate you. So, final thoughts. Manny, then Hop, and then we are out of here.
What you got, Manny? Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was pretty annoyed at the Spence Ugas fight, and I was trying to remember the commentator name, and it's so disappointing to see some of these commentators bashing, you know, whether it's the inside, you know, someone working behind the scenes on the third man, and he comes out, I think it was round 6 or 7. What the heck Kenneth Skull is doing, stopping the fight and taking a quick look at Ugas? Did you see what happened after the end of the fight? All right, do you think now he's wrong by stopping the fight? I get it. Now you're talking about it also as well, that he should have stopped intervene when, you know, Spence, you know, dropped the mouthpiece. But guess what? It's a live action. Protect yourselves at all time. If he stops that in the middle of him, he's losing some momentum. And guess what? He's going to get criticized more. You know, guys, commentators, these are co-workers of yours. You got to protect them. Don't fucking put them in the spot in the middle of live TV action. Kenneth Cole did a fantastic job just keeping an eye on someone's eye.
Man, what you did there. I see what you did there.
I see that.
Harper, final thoughts, brother.
Final thought, brothers. I love how people say, always questioning, the sport of boxing is in trouble. Yesterday proved it. 94,000 people strong in the UK. So shout out to the UK fans with the shitty undercard, probably one of the worst undercards of the year. Tyson Fury, Dillon Whyte packed the house, and they'll do it again in Australia for Kambosos Haney. They'll do it here wherever Canelo decides to fight. The sport of boxing is just fine. We like it the way it is. You know, mainstream. It's not going to cross over to the mainstream. Only some few fights, but hey. That's where we like it, man. We're the niche sport, and we love it, man. Let them hate. Let them keep saying the sport is in trouble. It's not. It's just fine, and we'll keep it rolling, baby. We'll keep talking about it.
Absolutely, man, and be on the lookout, man. Shout out to D-Style in the house, man. We'll be talking soon. We're looking for us during the week. We're going to be trying to line up and make sure that we're in line to not take away from one of these great HCP shows. And they got great lineup on shows that are every day. Every week, you want to check out the HCP. They got great content coming out every single week.
Peace out.
We'll be talking soon. Peace out, guys.
Nick Ball, he got Isaac Lowe. That was a shocking last night. EnVivo, shout out Nick Ball. You did it.
Emotional, damn it.
It's Maestro A. It's Kenny T. I'm back in New York City after a weekend in Las Vegas.
When we got Power Punchers episode 2, episode dos. Hit that like button as you come in.
Your boy Dave from the 408 coming to you all the way from my podcast studio in San Jose, Califas. You know what time it is. It's time for the shoe shine.
Everyone, welcome to Al Chile. We got my partners in crime, Run PMC and Nopal with us and visiting us for the first time. Al Chile means keeping it
style real. Boxing. Thanks to those joining me live. Those that be joining me here on Archive. I've been joined by the new co-host of ATP, Nancy, from the Boxing Republic.
It's my birthday, and then obviously, Red says to me, these are my girls. You have to make sure you do the interview for them. I said, you know what? Even though it's my birthday, we'll do it. No problem.
Oh, you're amazing.
So
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All-star panel, the round table, number 58. Really good weekend.
Seguimos EnVivo. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Como siempre, Mari Marrero.
Sean El Gringo Hicksa.
Hopper.
Hey.
Always breaking it down like it is, like it should.
Welcome to the Ringside Reporters Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we're going to talk about it right here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib.